all together, very louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, very louder, very louder. Hare Rama, oh, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Radhesham, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, louder, a little louder, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, more. If anyone wants to dance with us, they can dance, right? Nama Prema. Let's dance together, enjoy. Let's just enjoy this Nama, this name. Yeah? Anybody wants to dance? Ready for it? 5 minutes. Let's try. Let's warm up ourselves, right? Let's see who wants to dance. Ready? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's chant together louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Harinam Sankirtan ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Anant Kati Vaishnav Vrinda ki, Jai Janitai Gaur Premanande. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so very much for your wonderful presence this evening. And I'm sure I've noticed that everyone is so much more enlivened. We thank you for joining in this rendition of Kirtan by our wonderfully talented musicians. Kirtan is derived from Sankirtan, which refers to a congregational chanting of a mantra that solicits the supreme blissful personality of this universe. So thank you for sharing your space with us, and thank you for sharing that supreme bliss with us. So it is indeed my pleasure, and we'll keep the introduction extremely short. Maharaj, in his extreme humility, has asked us not to do an elaborate introduction. We are indeed very fortunate to have the presence of His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami in his visit to Australia. So please could we have a warm round of applause for Maharaj. In the heyday of American hedonism and extreme wealth, social unrest, many of the youth, Maharaj and his contemporaries, undertook a deep soul-searching journey. And in that soul-searching journey led them to the path that interacted with His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, who was an elderly Indian saint who traveled to the West to share the message of Bhakti Yoga. Maharaj Jayadvaita Swami, as we know him, then took the order of renunciation and has traveled the world lecturing to hundreds and thousands of people on the path of self-realization. So this evening we are indeed most fortunate to have his venerable presence. Maharaj will give a short discourse on yoga. Maharaj loves to interact, so once he's done, we will open the floor to live questions. Please feel free to ask whatever you'd like, in concisely as you can. And at the end of it, if you want to share your email, we can always pass that on to Maharaj, where you can have further correspondence. He's only in Australia for a short period of time, and he will depart out of Australia next week. So once again, thank you very much, and we'd like to welcome His Holiness Jayadvaita Swami. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Let's see.
Switch. Black one, black. Up.
Come. Where?
It's just this.
Oh, the power. That helps. That's better.
Hare Krishna. How's our volume? Hare Krishna. That seems, let's see. Is that good? Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadal Mahyam Dadati Shapadantikam. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastaja Deshatanani. When I first came in touch with this Mahamantra, it was on a recording back in the days of vinyl records, a recording by my spiritual master. On one side was the chanting of the Mahamantra, and on the other was a short talk. And in that talk he explained that the mantra directly springs from the spiritual platform, a platform that goes beyond the mind, beyond the senses, beyond the intellect also. It comes from the platform of the soul, by which we mean something quite specific. Well, okay, that's all right. Yeah, you might do a phone check and see that your phone... Yeah, I've got the same alarm, same ringtone, so I recognize it well. The first teaching in the Bhagavad Gita, which a book you might be familiar with, concerns the difference between the body and the person within the body. It starts with the understanding that there's that which is temporary and that which is permanent. Nasate vidyate bhavo, nasato vidyate bhavo, bhavo vidyate sata. The body is temporary. I was just seeing an article forwarded to me written by a physicist, in which he said that the body is such a thing that the atoms are all different after a short while. Like you come back in a year, and there's not a single atom that was in your body a year before, or that made up the body a year before. And he said that that's different from how things are with tables and chairs and so on, the way the body works. And all the atoms are just new, or exchanged. In the Bhagavad Gita, and it's not a physics dissertation, but Krishna says that we had the body of children, we have a child's body, then we get a young person's body, then we get an old person's body. The body itself is different. But I'm the same person. I remember when I was a kid and riding a bicycle with training wheels. Because I'm the same, I don't remember anything you were doing when you were a kid. Because I'm not you, you're not me. There's an individuality to every one of us. We hear a lot about oneness, and yes, there's a oneness in a sense. We're all of a similar nature, but we're not absolutely one. sometimes we hear this teaching of absolute oneness. I'm you, and you're me, and we're all one. Well, if you think about it, then when I attain self-realization, when you attain self-realization, when you attain perfection, I should have attained perfection, right? Because you're me, and I'm you. For that matter, when you have breakfast, I should feel full.
I wish.
Sorry?
I wish.
Yeah.
It's a good way to miss
Make things a lot easier, right?
That is diet.
But there's an individuality to every one of us. Then it goes beyond the obvious individuality that we see. We see old people and young people and men and women and dark people and fair people and tall and short and all of that. So there's that kind of individuality. But even when we come to the platform of consciousness, the higher platform that goes beyond the body, there's individuality. I remember my past, but not yours. You remember yours, but not mine. And by the consciousness that I develop, I'll have a certain future which will be different from your future or the next person's. So there's two kinds of individuality. The physical, bodily individuality and the spiritual individuality. Those two are different because one persists and the other dissolves. The child's body is gone, the young person's body is gone, the old person's body will be gone. But the consciousness persists. As an old man, I remember my childhood. And even after leaving this body, Krishna says, we continue to exist. Just as we've changed bodies so many times within this lifetime. So death is another change of body. Another change of body. We get another face, another nose, another set of eyes, another set of hands and legs. But we remain the same conscious being, with no birth, no death. Krishna says about consciousness, you can't cut it, you can't dry it up, you can't blow it away. Can't wither it. It's always existing. And a first step in self-realization is to recognize, to realize, to experience the difference between the physical embodiment in which we find ourselves and we, the individual living beings within our bodies. So when we say that the chanting comes from the spiritual platform, it means that it comes from that platform of pure consciousness that transcends the temporary, that transcends material things, that transcends even the physical body. And we start to identify ourselves no longer with the body, but with that spiritual self. So I think I'm not an American, I'm not Australian, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not thin or fat or young or old. But I'm a spark of consciousness, a spark of pure consciousness. And I see that I'm not the only spark of pure consciousness. I can understand. Otherwise, you know what solipsism is? Solipsism comes from Latin sol ipsus. It means I'm the only one that exists. Really, everything else is just a projection of my consciousness. I'm the only existent reality. Everything else is an extension of my own consciousness. Quite the radical notion. Otherwise, for those of us who are not solipsists, we intuit that you're something like me. You have feelings, I have feelings. You have thoughts, I have thoughts. You have intentions, I have intentions. And we see that shared among human beings, among animals and insects even. They want to live, I want to live, they want to live. You threaten them, they run away. You threaten me, I run away. So there's a oneness among us in that sense, that we're all little sparks of consciousness, embodied in different forms. And no one can count how many such living beings there are. I don't know the population of Australia, how many millions of people there are, but it's nothing compared to the number of Australian insects.
Especially mozzies and blowflies. We have too many flies.
Flies, yeah.
I'll follow you everywhere.
They follow us everywhere. Flies, insects. I've seen a lot of birds so far. There's, millions and millions and millions of living beings. Uncountable. And some of us have more of something. The birds have more mobility, they can fly. The flies have a certain persistence. The human beings are supposed to be more intelligent. We can do physics and math and literature. Everybody has more of something than everybody else, even if it's, yes. Generally, a person is considered to have assets, attractive qualities, if that person's beautiful or strong, wise, wealthy, famous, detached. Person who's famous attracts others. Person who's wealthy attracts others. A person who's beautiful or wise, or a person who can walk away from everything. There's a certain attractiveness to that. And we all have those qualities to some extent. We have some beauty, some wisdom, some wealth. But there's always someone with more. I have my little bit of beauty, but there are people so much more beautiful. And there's someone still more and more and more and more. When it comes to wisdom, I may have a little portion, but there are people wiser than I, and wiser than they, and then someone still wiser, someone still wiser. More wealthy, more wealthy. But none of us can say, I'm the wisest. I mean, we can say it, but legitimately, I can't claim to be the wisest person there is. or the most beautiful, or the strongest, for crying out loud, or the most anything. But the Upanishads say that among all the living beings, there's an ultimate living being. Among all the conscious living entities, there's an ultimate conscious living entity. And it's from that ultimate entity that we all get our share of whatever it is that we have. We get our share of beauty, of fame, of wealth, of wisdom. We get our share of consciousness, our share of desires and thoughts and joy, because we're parts of that greater whole. The drop of water gets its qualities from the ocean of water. So this Krishna sound, is identical with that ultimate entity. This is a unique feature of sound, that so many things can be. Sound is wonderful. What you can do with sounds. In the Vedic times, they could launch weapons with sound. They could heal with sound. And there's an ability for the ultimate entity to be present in sound. On the material platform, a sound and a thing are different. So I might call out, water, 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 and I'll still be thirsty, because water, the substance, and water, the sound, are different. But on the spiritual platform, sound and substance are identical. Sound and substance are identical. So this Krishna sound, the sound Krishna, is identical with Krishna, the absolute, Krishna, the ultimate entity, Krishna, the reservoir of all existence. And so by chanting this Krishna mantra, one comes in intimate touch with Krishna. And it's said that Krishna's dancing on your tongue. When we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna's dancing on our tongues. And so one can have an experience of the presence of the Absolute, the presence of divinity, and the presence of Krishna, by chanting this Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And there are no restrictions, no mundane limits that you have to chant at this time, you have to chant it in this way. Half an hour before the sun rises or whatever. No. No rules about time or place or person. That you have to have some sort of special eligibility. Anyone can chant this mantra and experience the all-pervasive presence of Krishna. It's said that in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna resides within the heart of each one of us, and that each one of us resides within Krishna. That he's at the same time everywhere, and at the same time very far and very near. That everything's within him, yet he's within everything. all of these realizations become available to us by chanting Hare Krishna. We don't have to. We may understand it or not understand it. We may be great scholars, or we may be simple people. But this chanting will be effective whoever we are, wherever we are. And so it's the most suitable means, the Vedic literature says, for spiritual realization in the present age. Because of its simplicity, because of its accessibility, because of its sublime nature. So it's simple, really. There are only 3 words in the mantra: Hare Krishna and Rama. Krishna and Rama are names, 2 different names of the ultimate entity, and they indicate the highest abode of pleasure. And Hare addresses the energy of Krishna. As the sun is present with sunshine, Krishna is present with his spiritual energy. And we come in touch with that, with both Krishna and his spiritual energy, by chanting this Hare Krishna mantra. And maybe I'll stop there. Is there some water? You know, there's a difference between the sound water and the substance water. Okay, there's the substance. Thank you. Another feature of this mantra is that we can chant to ourselves, you know, or by ourselves quietly as a form of meditation, or we can chant together as we were doing this evening. What can you say? It's this one mantra is for everything. And the mind becomes surcharged or infused, I like that word better, infused with the presence of Krishna. By chanting Krishna, 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 the mind becomes suffused with the presence of Krishna, and therefore the mind becomes purified. In the present materialistic atmosphere, mind becomes dirty. Someone gave me, I spend a lot of time in New York City, and one kind person gave me an air purifier. And when you open it up, there's like a little cylinder through which the air passes, and that cylinder has a filter. And when you run your fingers over the filter after a while, you see what it's been. You know, I thought, what is this thing? It's just whirring and doesn't do anything. But when I opened it up, I saw there was all this thick gunk on the filter. That's New York City air. So, of course, that's pollution in the gross sense. But there's also, you know, what would you say, psychological pollution, atmospheric pollution of a different kind, where all these sounds are being are bombarding us, different sounds, different images, different scams and schemes and notions and ideas that are all rubbish. And a fair amount of it sticks. I still have commercial jingles in my mind from 1953.
Which one?
I'm not going to tell you.
And go better with Coca-Cola, thing, the better it Coke.
See? So this is a method for cleansing the mind. It doesn't wipe out the mind. We're not trying to say, okay, the mind is evil and we're going to stop. We're going to reach mindlessness. We're close enough to mindlessness as it is. But we don't want to kill the mind or drive it into the wilderness, but purify the mind. So that the mind, instead of thinking of junk, will think of divinity, will think of the Absolute, will think of Krishna. And that will spiritualize our life. And Krishna says, in the next life one can be liberated and attain the spiritual realm, about which a lot more can be said. But maybe not a whole lot more this evening because time. I wonder what kind of thoughts might be bubbling up, or what kind of questions, or what have you.
I have one question.
Good.
This is about the Maha mantra.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any difference in quality from by chanting on the beads versus singing kirtan?
About the Maha Mantra, is there any difference in quality between chanting on the beads or chanting in kirtan, chanting together as we were just doing? For those who haven't seen, Krishna devotees have beads like these, and on the beads we chant the mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So there's a difference in quality between that chanting and this chanting together. No, there's not. It's absolute. Krishna is always Krishna. But there's a difference in realization that we may experience. The personal chanting, the solo chanting, is a kind of meditative chanting, by which the mind is attracted to Krishna. And the kirtan is a group chanting, by which the mind becomes attracted to Krishna. And the group chanting is especially effective. When we're all chanting together, you can experience a kind of joy and a kind of exuberance that you might not experience the same way in your meditative chanting. But they're both different ways of approaching divinity, approaching Krishna. Just like sometimes we like to sing, and sometimes we like to do something else. Just pray quietly or meditate. So these are different ways of approaching God, approaching the Absolute, by singing, by meditation. So this Krishna Maha Mantra is good for both. You can chant Hare Krishna on beads in a meditative fashion, or you can join in the group chanting in a kirtan. Same Krishna. Is that okay?
Yeah, it was about like the effectiveness of the method. But I guess if it's pure devotional service, that is as effective as any other devotional
Yeah,
service.
they're all pure, and one can attain perfection by any means of bhakti or devotional service, but it's said that the kirtan is especially effective. In the present age, we experience that. We can still do the other things. We can still meditate. It's not, oh, you have to do kirtan all the time. You can still, we want that. We want some meditation. We want some time to ourselves. And we want some, the present, we want to be with others also. And share a spiritual experience. But that shared spiritual experience by chanting together is especially effective. Thank you. Yes?
How is meditating upon the mantra different from other kinds of meditations where we are visualizing, like we have an intention when we enter? Because a mantra is something that we are not very familiar with, but we are familiar with the visuals, like meditating upon the visuals, like, and...
How is chanting different from visual meditation?
Visualizations that we do.
Visualization. It's easier. It's a heck of a lot easier. If you tell me now, I mean, I can lead you through a guided meditation. Take a deep breath. And let your eyes slowly close. And you can picture within yourself such and such. But it's hard. The pictures come and go, the pictures are hard to fix within the mind. It's sort of the nature of the pictures that they flip like your gallery on your iPhone. And the mind is like that. Pictures are flipping because the mind is flipping. The mind goes from here to Chicago in the space of half a moment and back. And that's the nature of the mind. It's always moving, and it's fickle. And plus some of us just aren't very visual. That's also there. We're more in the auditory mode, or kinesthetic, or just not that visual. And all these other pictures come in too. Pictures from the internet, pictures from my high school yearbook, pictures from, every place. So fixing the mind on an image, visualizing, and keeping that visualization is hard. Very hard. Yogis could do it. It's said that in a previous age, people used to live for 100,000 years. And they could meditate for 10,000 years at a stretch. Yeah, really. 15 minutes is a big deal for us. They could meditate like that. And for them to visualize, to fix the mind on an image, a divine image, that was possible. How many of us are going to do that today in Adelaide, Australia? It's just exceedingly hard. And chanting is exceedingly easy. And even if the mind, you're chanting Hare Krishna, you want your mind to be on Krishna, and your mind wanders over to the Bodleian Library in Oxford or something, or to the Rolling Stones' second album, or whatever. You can bring it back, because you're chanting Hare Krishna. Every time that sound comes around, it's another opportunity to bring the mind back to the sound of the mantra. That's easy. It's also practice, but it's an easy practice. So visualization is hard and chanting is easy. Something else? I attended, by the way, just out of curiosity, a lecture, not a lecture, yeah, a lecture, I guess, by sort of spiritually inspired woman in America. And that was her mode, you know, she'd start speaking and there's a flame within you and the flame is growing more bright and glowing and the flame is turning red and then turning blue and you can feel it within your heart and you can feel it expanding and wow, you know, sort of. But it's just, at the end of it, it's like, yeah, what happened? Okay, there was a flame, it went here and it was there. But we don't leave with anything, you know, there's nothing that's permanent. And it's sort of a come wander with me in my mind. You know, we all do this all the time. Our mind goes here and our mind goes there. Okay, she speaks very well and in a sort of enchanting way, or I guess kind of hypno-rap. And our mind can become absorbed for a while, but there's no ultimate benefit. You just go on a mental tour with her. But this Hare Krishna vibration goes beyond the mind. It comes from the spiritual platform. And we commune with that spiritual platform by chanting. We come in touch with that spiritual platform by chanting. And the chanting will stick with us. It's not. And in that chanting, in that Krishna sound, there's unlimited meaning. This is a topic explored at great length, actually, in the spiritual writings of the Chaitanya school. How much meaning there is. In the beginning, you don't even have to know what it means. That was part of the recording I heard. You don't even need to know the meaning of the mantra. It will work anyway. But if you want, you can go into the meaning and find unlimited meaning just in those two syllables, Krishna.
Mark, is this the mantra that's being chanted? Is this an Indian thing? Is this a conversion? Why to apply to
Is it
a white person, a black person? Why would I follow a mantra? What will it do for me?
Who is this mantra? What is this mantra and what will it do for me? And is it an Indian thing? Softball question, thank you. It's like the Indian sun. When you're in India, the sun is Indian. But the sun is not limited to India. The sun is for everywhere. The sun is everywhere. Well, a lot of places. The sun's not here at midnight. But the sun can extend all over the world. And yet the sun is beyond our world, beyond our earth. But it's the poor man, the rich man, the man from this country, that country, they can all take advantage of the sun. The sunshine will. And the sun is so kind, the sun doesn't say, I'm not going to shine on this guy. Got no money and no brains, I'm not going to shine on him. No, everyone can take this chanting because we all have a relationship with Krishna. As I mentioned earlier, we're all spiritual particles of the ultimate being. So we're, in that sense, parts of Krishna. So everyone has a relationship with Krishna. Not an ethnic or national or limited thing. Everyone can take it. And therefore it's spread all over the world. It's not that because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, suddenly my passport turned from American to Indian. But I'm still American, I can chant Hare Krishna. So many Americans, Russians, Chinese, Christians, Muslims, Jews. Anyone can chant. My spiritual teacher used to say it's like gold. Nobody says, well, I don't take Indian gold. Gold is gold. Anyone can take it because it will always have the same value anywhere. Something else? Yeah.
What about silence?
What about?
Silence?
Silence.
Yes, silence.
Well, that's another mode of meditation. To be absolutely silent. And that's hard too.
Is it as effective as mantra?
Is it as effective as mantra? If done perfectly. By silence one may come to perfection, but it's very hard. First of all, where's the silence? You know, if we all decide that we're going to be very still and quiet now. That the AC or a fan?
The thinking, I have to make my mind silent, and my silence my mind, and my silence my mind, and my silence my mind. That's a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, the Buddhists who take the approach of wanting to reach no mind and so on, find that the mind is awfully persistent. Just doesn't go away. So first of all, even physical silence is difficult to find or achieve or keep. You find there are sadhus, saintly people in India, they take a vow of silence, but they've got like a chalkboard, and they write little messages on the chalkboard. Silence is difficult to sustain, and if I am silent, what's going on? The mind has not gone silent, and it keeps wandering and wandering and wandering. So again, the yogis who could meditate for 100,000 years could practice silent meditation. And they had such mental discipline that they could achieve perfection by silent meditation. But it's hard. It was hard for them. And what should we say about us? And chanting again is easy. You don't have to shut the mind up and stop it and say, I thought I got rid of you, now you've come back, get out of here. Just keep bringing the mind back to this pure sound of Hare Krishna. It's easy. Is that okay? Mm-hmm.
So how has chanting changed your life?
How has chanting changed my life? A lot. Well, entirely, really. I'd have to admit to being quite a confused young fellow. I started this when I was 18. Now I'm 76. I have to confess to being a very confused person. If you ask me who I was, if you ask me what the world was, if you ask me what my purpose was, if you ask me a whole lot of things, I'd be ignorant. If you told me that I should control my impulses to try this and do that and smoke this and so on, that would be hard. I was a mess, frankly. And I think I'm better. The chanting gives purpose, it gives clarity, it gives understanding, it gives purity. Purity in your life, purity in your thought. And lots more. Yeah.
Is your health better for chanting?
Excuse me?
Is your health better?
Oh, my health is much better. I probably would have died by the time I was 21. Along with the chanting comes it fits within the context, a larger context of yoga, bhakti yoga. The chanting, you can do nothing more than chant, but it naturally fits with a set of practices or a whole understanding of life that is better. In bhakti yoga, we control our diet, for example. And that in itself, you will add, your health will radically benefit. Not only that, you can be vegetarian or vegan or what have you. But in bhakti yoga, there's a practice that we understand that the food that we eat comes from divinity. It comes from Krishna, ultimately. The food doesn't come from a factory, from General Mills or whoever. Comes from the earth, but where does the earth come from? Ultimately, everything comes from Krishna. And so the practice of the bhakti yogis is to offer food to Krishna, to dedicate that, we all eat, but to cook with the idea that, let me cook something for Krishna. Let me acknowledge that this food has come from divinity. Just like in India. Have you been to India? So in India, when people, the Ganges is such a big river, and many people, thousands of people bathe in the holy waters of the Ganges. And the practice is that after bathing in the Ganges, or while they're still in the Ganges, they'll scoop up a palmful, 2 palmfuls of Ganges water, and they'll offer the water into the water. They offer the Ganges into the Ganges. What else can I offer? I'm not going to offer, mud into the Ganges. They'll offer Ganges water back into the Ganges. So it's an expression of gratitude and an acknowledgement that I've benefited so much from the Ganges, and what can I offer? Well, I can offer Ganges to the Ganges. So we've gotten, we get the air that we breathe from Krishna, and we get the food that we eat from Krishna, the water that we drink. So in bhakti, we offer food to Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that such offerings become spiritualized, that Krishna becomes present in that purified or sanctified food. So this goes a step beyond lacto-ovo vegetarian or vegan or what have you. It's on another level now because it's connected to divinity. I can be a vegetarian and be a monkey and, or what have you. There's not necessarily a divine connection there just by virtue of my diet. But when it's offered to divinity, when it's offered to Krishna, it has a purifying effect, as the mantra has a purifying effect. The very food has a purifying effect. And you can eat that food every day. And it will change your life, it will. And someone may say, well, you know, those are just cherries, and you're saying that it's something special. But actually, if you eat those cherries or those, whatever it may be, you'll have an experience of Krishna's presence. Not all of a sudden, boing, but you'll see how your life changes. Yes?
So Maharaj, you mentioned about when you took up this science, you were 18 or? So, I mean, and of course you explained that this is coming from a spiritual world. And also you mentioned that there is no qualification required to begin chanting. But at the same time, I can see that there is some qualification required to continue chanting, in the sense, what is that experience you experienced that you continued in this chanting?
Just good luck. Just good luck, that's all. I can't say that I'm a very special person or anything, just somehow or other by good fortune I've stuck with it, that's all. Maybe by touch with my spiritual teacher and with the writings and so on, that fortifies our connection by keeping company with those who are following the path of bhakti. One naturally becomes inclined to continue on the path of bhakti. So, good fortune, good company, good guidance, good food.
Also another follow-up question, thank you for answering initial part. So how does a soul realize that now the individual person is connecting on the spiritual platform and really in tuning with the...
How does one realize that?
Yes.
You have to realize it.
Maybe if you can share your experience. Like,
it's like, how do you realize that you've had breakfast and you're full? You feel satisfied and you don't want to eat anymore. So by chanting Hare Krishna, you feel transcendental satisfaction. And you'll feel that, why do I need these materialistic substitutes for happiness? I can be happy within myself. I'm chanting Hare Krishna and acting on this path of bhakti. I'm a little conscious that our time is ticking on.
Just a small little
Sorry, has a person.
a microphone in search of.
I should quickly ask, Matthew, what part of yoga does chanting cover? Like, what part of yoga?
What part of yoga does chanting
cover? Like, what part does it belong to?
Well, chanting is found in many different kinds of yoga, but our specific tradition is the tradition of Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna recommends that among all different kinds of yogis, the one who takes up bhakti is in the best position. Yoginam api sarvesham Madgatain antaratmana Shraddhavan bhajate yomam sameyuktatamomata. The person who takes up bhakti becomes most intimately united with divinity, with Krishna. So, does that answer?
I understand bhakti because that's my language, but what really is bhakti for people, people who are not familiar with the word bhakti?
Bhakti means connecting with Krishna through service rendered in devotion. And that becomes a discussion how to do that, what that is. There are different ways that we can connect with Krishna in a spirit of devotion, in a spirit of service. And that becomes, again, a long topic, and I want to respect everyone's time and not step on your schedule too heavily. We have a lot of books. Did we bring some books with us?
They'll be at tomorrow's event.
They'll be at tomorrow's event. Okay, so hang on till tomorrow, and we'll have various books that you can take advantage of that will say more than I can say.
Also, if you are keen, you can share your email address, as I said at the beginning, and we'll just reach out to you on email and see whichever books are available and something that catches your interest. Any question?
The question I had was, what advice would you give to a newcomer Maharaj to get started on this path after this class?
Say it again.
What advice would you give to a newcomer to get started on this path?
What advice to a newcomer? Go on chanting. And especially take advantage of the company of those who are on this path of bhakti. Those two things. That would be my advice. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Are there any other questions or comments? We have a few minutes before we close.
Shall we do a little more chanting?
If you would like us to.
I would love it. My voice is shot. But if someone would like to lead us in a few more minutes of chanting, that's a nice way to
Is that
end.
okay with everybody? We should have some kirtan for the next 5 minutes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Before we start, I just want to inform you that dinner is in a takeaway package, which we have right outside. So please don't leave without taking dinner. Thank you. We'd also like to thank Rubina. Rubina. So we'd like to thank Robina, who's one of the organizers, and Olivia on behalf of the management of the studio. So we thank you very, very much for enabling us to use this facility. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Shri Radhe Shyam ki, Shri Shri Gauranitai ke, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram ke, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki, Hari Ram Sankirtan ki, Anant Kati Vaishnav ki, Jai Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Thank you very much for your attendance. Good evening. And we'd like to thank all of our Kirtanyas and musicians who are here, Kirtan Priya, Radha Govind, Mahasundari, Shyam, Prati on the flute, obviously the foundation Pradeep, who takes care of all of the logistics to make sure we have a wonderful Kirtan team. If you did enjoy this experience, please join us tomorrow evening. The Kirtan team is going to be there, and Maharaj as well. It's at 153 Flinders Street. It was going to be a youth come everybody's program. Maharaj has explained that this holy name is eternal. So with his kind permission, we've raised the age from youth from 35 to 75. So since you've all been here, please sneak in and join us again tomorrow evening. There will also be a similar type of festival with music, as a discourse by Maharaj. Prepare some questions and obviously dinner as well. So we thank you very, very much for your attendance and your kind attention. And Maharaj will be around for a few days. If you wish to stay in contact with Maharaj, please share your details and we'll pass that directly on to Maharaj. Thank you so very much and have a wonderful evening.